Hi, me again. And Gary Lineker is the gift that just keeps on giving, isn't he? He's back in their headlines again. I thought we could have a little chat about him. Look at this. Gary Lineker, I'm not a proper BBC employee and I use my platform for good. There you go. Straight from the horse's mouth. He's not a proper BBC employee and he uses his platform for good. Because it's been proven he can say whatever he wants. He can say whatever he wants on his social media. He can do stuff that other BBC presenters can only dream of. And he can do that because he's not a proper BBC employee. So there. The former footballer said, well, I'm not in news and current affairs. I think if your staff or a proper employee is out of place. Whereas obviously I'm freelance. I'm here to promote a show, Sitting on a Fortune, which is an ITV show. I'm on all sorts of platforms. And he is. He's all over the place, isn't he? But not a proper BBC employee. Why would he say that? I know he is paid. They pay his company and he's a contractor for his company. I forget the name of it now. It's Gary Lineker something or other. Let's see if I can find it. Hold on. Oh, Gary Lineker Media is his company and he's an employee for Gary Lineker Media. And that's who the BBC pays. And then Gary Lineker Media pays him. But he has to say he's not a proper BBC employee because the whole IR35 thing, because he was on the line here. Look, Gary Lineker gets £4.9 million IR35 bill by HMRC thrown out. He proved he wasn't a proper employee because if they could prove he was an employee, he was on the line for that much money as a tax bill. That's how much he would have owed to HMRC. So he can't call himself a proper employee. But just for fun, because I like to have fun, you know me by now, I typed into Google BBC, what did I type into Google? Oh, Gary Lineker working for the BBC. That's what I typed into Google. So let's have a look, see what we can find here. So in this article on Birmingham Live, which was September 2019, I love working for the BBC. There are problems working for the BBC, but obviously because of what it is and what it entails, blah, blah, blah. Working for the BBC, okay. What else we got? In Entertainment Daily. With the BBC, yes. Elsewhere, it doesn't matter. There are pundits, blah, blah, blah. But that's the way it is. I love working for the BBC. In the Financial Times. I know I could have earned more elsewhere, but at the same time, I love working for the BBC. Not at the BBC. I mean, he's got to be careful with his wording. But the highest paid BBC presenter, he's been there, what, 20 years? Would you call him a BBC employee? I mean, I think he thinks he's a BBC employee in his head, but for tax purposes, he can't be. So, yeah. So the determination by the FTT that the intermediaries legislation cannot apply quashes the HMRC's £4.9 million demand for presenting work Lineker did for the duo, which was BBC and BT Sport, from 2013 to 2018. So he got away with that by not being a proper employee. There you go. I mean, someone should tell, who wrote it? Where's this article from? It just says Yahoo Entertainment, could be from anywhere. I think it was an interview on GMB or something they're quoting from. And it says here, Lineker, who's paid an annual salary of £1.3 million by the BBC, an annual salary paid by the BBC, kind of insinuates he's an employee of the BBC. But what do I know? And, you know, no one wants to pay tax, do they? Let me know what you think about it down in the comments below. And as always, thanks for watching. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. That way, hopefully I'll see you in another video again soon when I ta-da.